All right, today we're going to dig into a 500-year-old answer to a question that, well, might just be on your mind right now. I mean, how can any of us find true peace of mind? And I don't mean just a quiet moment here or there. I'm talking about a real, deep down calm, in your conscience. It's a question that's as relevant today as it was centuries ago. Well, one thinker from the 16th century, a guy named John Calvin, he argued that finding that peace, it all starts by solving two fundamental problems first. These two problems are totally interlocked. So, what are they? What's the key? Let's break it down. So, for Calvin, it all comes down to these two core problems. They're basically the framework for understanding not just our relationship with God, but maybe even more importantly, our relationship with ourselves. And here they are. Think of it like a really delicate balancing act. On one side, you have God's glory. It has to be absolute, totally undiminished. But on the other side, you've got our peace, our conscience, which is just desperate to find some rest. And for Calvin, this is the kicker. Any real solution has to solve both of these problems at the exact same time. Okay, let's tackle that first one, the problem of glory. Now, this might sound a little abstract, but it is the absolute bedrock of Calvin's whole argument. And believe me, it's way more personal than you might think. Calvin is incredibly direct here. He basically says that the second we try to take even a tiny bit of credit for our own salvation, the moment we try to defend ourselves, we're actually chipping away at God's glory. For him, it's a complete zero-sum game. So, the really crucial point here is that we can't claim even a crumb of righteousness for ourselves. To do that, Calvin says, is basically sacrilege. It's like stealing something that belongs completely and totally to God. Any glory we take for ourselves is glory we've literally taken away from him. Okay, so now let's see how this huge problem of God's glory connects directly to the second one, which is all about our own, anxious conscience. If you've ever found yourself trying to be good enough to feel worthy or just at peace, Calvin would say you're walking them a path that is absolutely guaranteed to be a dead end. It's not just a mistake. It's a psychological and spiritual trap. And this is where it gets super personal. Calvin poses this really tough question. Can any one of us, if we're being totally honest, say we've perfectly satisfied the law? His answer is a hard no. And think about it. If our peace depends on our performance, well, that means we can never, ever be truly at ease. And the result of this, it's just devastating. It's not peace, it's endless doubt, it's hesitation, and in the end, it's just despair. Your conscience, as he so vividly puts it, will be besieged by the terrors of hell because it can never find a solid place to stand. It's just an impossible weight to carry. So, okay, we're left with these two massive problems, right? God's glory has to be total, but our conscience desperately needs total peace. How on earth can you solve both of those at the same time? Well, this is where Calvin introduces his solution, and it's really elegant. He calls it justification by faith. And the key is this massive shift in thinking. It's not about what we achieve, it's about what we receive. Faith, in this view, isn't something we do for God. It's more like just an open hand, ready to accept a gift that he's giving. And this is the genius of it. Seriously, this one single idea solves both problems perfectly. Check this out. First, if our right standing with God is a totally free gift, who gets the credit? God, and God alone. Boom, problem one is solved. So then what about our anxious conscience? Well, it can finally rest. Why? Because its security isn't based on our shaky, imperfect works anymore. It's based on God's perfect, unwavering promise. Problem two, solved. So what this all boils down to, really, is this profound, life-altering shift in perspective. It's moving away from a whole life of anxious earning to a life of peaceful receiving. And Calvin wasn't just pulling this out of thin air. He was building on the ideas of earlier thinkers like Bernard of Clairvaux. Bernard argued that faith is the very thing that lets us see a truth we can never figure out on our own, this truth of God's unearned favor. So when you get right down to it, for John Calvin, the path to true, lasting peace of mind, it's not about striving harder or earning your way there. It's about humbly accepting a gift that has already been given. And that really just leaves us with a big question to think about. If worthiness isn't something you have to earn, but something you can simply receive, what does that change? For you, I mean. It's a pretty radical idea, and honestly, it has the power to change everything.